If you needed any more evidence that the United States of America is on a speed run to becoming a fascist oligarchy, look no further than top Trump advisor Stephen Miller absolutely raging against a MSNBC legal analyst on Fox News, saying that he is a traitor to the country and basically calling for his head for simply pointing out a very clear or seemingly very clear legal quandary in Trump's invoking of the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. So let's go ahead and look at this clip here from Fox News YouTube channel.
A little bit easier today, and I would love to hear more about those operations. But let me play this first from somebody who I know is not a favorite of President Trump. This is Andrew Weissman, who's a former top Mueller prosecutor. Of course, it's not a huge surprise that he didn't like this operation. He doesn't think it's legal under the act that you just mentioned, Stephen. Watch.
We're not at war with Venezuela. We're not at war with the gang that is the subject of the executive order. There is no invasion that is going on. And you also have to show that the people you're removing are actually part of that gang, even if there were an invasion or a war. And this statute may, in fact, be very unconstitutional.
So the judge has to be convinced that these individuals aren't real. I mean, it's a huge group, and nobody's going to miss any of these people, but they're quantifiable. So can you prove that these individuals were linked with Tren de Aragua and that Tren de Aragua is part of a Maduro operation, Stephen?
So first of all, Andrew Weissman is an absolute moron. He is a moron, and he is a fool, and he's a degenerate. Andrew Weissman has devoted his career to putting innocent Americans in jail, taking away their civil liberties. He was involved in the Mueller coup against a democratically elected President Donald J. Trump. Weissman should never be on TV anywhere. He should hang his head in eternal shame for what he's done to this country. And now he's up there shilling for people who rape and murder Americans. That's who Andrew Weissman is.
Okay, so he goes on for a little bit, just railing on, and that's about all I can listen to of that. But what he doesn't do is really say what Andrew Weissman, really give a reasoning as to what Andrew Weissman said was wrong. So let's head on over here to ChatGPT, where I kind of asked it, all right, what's up with the Alien Enemies Act of 1798? The Alien and Sedition Acts of 1798 were a series of 4 laws passed by Federalist-controlled U.S. Congress during the presidency of John Adams. These laws were primarily aimed at restricting the influence of foreign nationals and suppressing political dissent, particularly from Democratic Republican Party led by Thomas Jefferson and James Madison. It allowed the president to detain or deport male citizens of a hostile nation during times of war. And so I asked it, okay, what about the requirement of being at war to invoke the act? The Alien Enemies Act of 1798 could only be invoked during a declared war between the United States and another nation. This means that the president could not use it arbitrarily in peacetime. There had to be an official state of war for it to apply. So Stephen Miller can use all the adjectives he wants. He can get as animated with his voice as he wants. The fact remains that Donald Trump invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to deport people in this country that were not even linked to any specific gang or organization that is committing crimes against the United States is not a legal use of that act. It seems to be to me a pretty clear fact, but the thing is that we're living in a day and age where MAGA is based around what Donald Trump is saying during that day and Donald Trump's worldview. Facts and statistics and accurate information be damned. And really, what this illustrates is that we're in a post-truth era, certainly well into the post-truth era, but really we're full swing into fascism being the MO in America, where the truth absolutely has no merit, no power whatsoever in the face of a government that lies to its people. In related news, yesterday, or on Monday, excuse me, we had Tom Homan on deportation flights saying, "I don't care what the judges think." Border Czar Tom Homan said he doesn't care what the judges think about the deportation flights of Venezuelan gang members as the administration faces a legal battle over the flights. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care. Over the past weekend, President Trump invoked the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, the third time the Wartime Act has been used and the first time since World War II. A federal judge expanded a temporary block on the deportations of 5 of the migrants and verbally ordered the plane carrying nearly 300 alleged gang members to not leave the U.S. or to turn around. The Trump administration has insisted the plane was already outside of U.S. jurisdiction, sparking a more complicated legal battle as the American Civil Liberties Union questioned whether the White House defied the court order. Yeah, they don't care. MAGA doesn't care about the rule of law, the party that continually says we are the party of law and order, okay? Donald Trump is above the law in the eyes of the Republican Party. The law does not apply to Donald Trump's administration. And it's really just something that's getting in the way of what they want to do. As Tom Homan here quite literally says, I don't care what the judges say. What if all judge rulings are to be ignored? What if a judge was to rule that, hey, we have evidence that this particular individual was deported illegally because they didn't commit any crimes, right? What's stopping the Trump administration from saying, well, too bad. Well, it already happened. Well, we're in power, so judges don't matter, right? And further evidence of MAGA and Trump's absolute disdain for the rule of law and for anything and anyone that has the ability to levy any power or influence over this country other than Trump. Look no further than how Trump speaks about this judge, saying that he should be impeached. President Donald Trump attacked Judge James Boasberg, who ordered the Trump administration to cease deporting migrants under the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. In an angry Tuesday morning tirade on Truth Social, Trump called Boasberg a radical left lunatic of a judge, a troublemaker, and an agitator. He undermined his judicial authority by declaring that he was sadly appointed by Barack Hussein Obama and was not elected president. He went on to boast about his overwhelming mandate, as well as to call for Boasberg to be impeached. I'm not going to read all of this nonsense. You can pause the video and read Trump's post if you would like. But really, what we're seeing here is a complete and utter denial, dismissal, a complete disregard for the rule of law in this country and for any apparatus and any judge or individual out there that's pushing back at all is being met with fire and fury and straight up disinformation and lies from the White House. And we as a country should not stand for this. We should always defer to the rule of law being what binds our country together, and that nobody, not even the president of the United States of America, should be above the rule of law in this country. Because if we don't have the law, what do we have, right? So, yeah, unfortunately, we're in a day and age where a lot of America is cheering for this, right? A lot of America seemingly wants fascism, seemingly wants the president to be able to say, hey, judge, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that ruling. I don't like that. So I'm going to disregard and ignore you. No. That's not how this country is ran. That's not how the rule of law works. And our founding fathers would be aghast at Donald Trump's actions towards these migrants.